Greetings and welcome to Match Play with Ray Adams today, a very special episode in my series, Great Women in Golf. Well, there couldn't be a greater woman in golf that I could think of than none other than Kathy Whitworth. Kathy,
Thank you, Ray.
welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
And we're going to have some fun with Kathy Whitworth, and she's going to teach us something. And she doesn't even know what it is yet, but it's going to be fun. And we're all going to learn and enjoy Kathy Whitworth. We are being hosted today, Kathy, at Papago Golf Course here in Phoenix, Arizona. And this is very sentimental for me because I grew up here at Papago Golf Course. My parents owned a business nearby. They would drop me off of a Saturday morning around 7:30
Great place
or
to
8.
spend the day.
Yeah, and I'd stay here all day and play golf as a young boy growing up. And I understand that you have a connection with Papago Golf Course as well.
Yes, in a very fond memory. I was with Wilson Sporting Goods, and they would send us out to do clinics and exhibitions if we weren't playing a tournament, just to give us something to do, you know, and promote their product. But they scheduled a clinic and an exhibition out here back in it was early '60s, and of course there was nothing out here. But it was just beautiful, and I do remember playing the golf course, and I can't remember it now, but I remember I really liked it. You know,
Sure.
It wasn't in the best condition maybe, but nothing was in the best condition back then.
Well, a little
and
bit
there was,
different.
yeah, and the clubhouse, of course, there wasn't any clubhouse, but it was a great memory, and I really enjoyed being out here.
Folks, Kathy Whitworth is the winningest professional tour player in history, in all of golf history. Now let me drill down a little bit there with you, Kathy.
Okay.
First of all, Kathy has won 88 times on the LPGA Tour. But what really, really blew my mind, Kathy, was that you were second place 95 times.
I know.
Second place 95 times,
I couldn't
88
believe
wins.
that.
Now, Tiger Woods and Sam Snead
Yeah.
are currently tied at 82 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got them well beat.
Yeah,
And
well.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you know,
We know
and I
Sam
did.
won't do it.
No, I know, and Sam was a good friend, and when I broke his record, he was sweet enough that he called the press room and congratulated me and everything, and I, you know, it was just something that everybody looked to and a number, but anyway, and of course I'm thrilled that Tiger is back.
Sure.
I think he's just a terrific player, and all he's gone through and still going through, and I understand he might play in Oklahoma at the PGA.
We'll definitely see how that goes.
And but he could, but the thing is, to break the record, you have to play.
There you go.
And he can, and you have to play a lot. And I played a lot of tournaments, but I wanted to. It wasn't anything that was forced on me. I really enjoyed my career, and of course, winning was what you were supposed to do. You didn't always win, but that was your motivation.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, you're a Texan.
Yes.
You came from a small town in Texas, but then your family moved over to New Mexico.
Yes.
And at age 15, I understand,
Mm-hmm.
you fell in love with golf.
I did.
And your father owned a hardware store.
He did.
And you went to Odessa College.
Yes.
Where the wind blows a lot.
You do have to learn to play in the wind.
Yeah.
And but that's everybody had to do the same thing out there.
You turned pro at 19.
Yeah.
After you finished with college, you turned pro. That was 1958. The LPGA and the 13 founders of the LPGA had just founded the tour only a few years earlier.
That's right.
And so from 15 to 19, in 4 short years, you went from never holding a golf club to being on the LPGA Tour as a professional. Can you take me through that very quickly? How did that happen?
Well, probably turned pro too early, but because I wasn't ready in a sense, but the circumstances were such that financially it was, I had, and to get any tournament experience coming from a small town, I couldn't play against good competition, and so I didn't know how good I could get because I didn't have anything to gauge by. But so the opportunity was there, presented, and I went on tour when I was 19, and
You did.
But I learned to play during that time, and I mean, it was a struggle, but I loved it. I really did. I just loved it.
You had a little bit of learning curve to go
Yes,
through
I
because
did.
it was very rough. You almost quit,
Yeah, I did.
but your dad said, well, you've got 3 years of financial backing.
Yeah,
Go make it happen or we'll do something else.
that's right.
You finally won your first golf tournament in 1962.
Yeah,
Your career lasted all the way through 1985 on the LPGA Tour, and you won those 88 tournaments, those 95-second starts. You were the first LPGA Tour player to make $1 million,
yeah,
and you are in the World Golf Hall of Fame.
yeah.
6 majors along the way. Kathy, my goodness, what a career.
Yeah.
And how can we translate that to the folks that are watching when you do have a struggle or a slow start? What's your advice that they keep going so that they can achieve what they're looking for?
Well, I didn't get there by myself. You know, Harvey Penick was my teacher, and anybody in golf that has any kind of history about it knows who Harvey is. And I got to him early because Hardy Loudermilk, who was the pro there at the club I grew up in, he knew Harvey. And Hardy was just getting started. He was an older individual because he had been in, but he was a good amateur player. But he wanted to get in the golf business, and so he went on to be a club pro. So he came to Chow, and that was his second job. Great guy. I mean, he went up into the echelon of the PGA in his career. So, but he knew Harvey, and he called Harvey, and he said, "I got this young girl. Would you see her?" And so Mom and I drove to Austin. And we went down to in his pro shop and we had a little visit. And he told me, he said, "Well," he says, "I think, you know, let's go up and hit some balls and let's see what, you know." And I said, "Okay." So I went up to the driving range and hit some shots, and he said, "Well," he says, "I think I can help you. But you gotta do what I tell you, because it's a waste of time," and that's true. And I said, "You bet." I said, "I'll do anything you tell me."
You said sure.
"Oh, you bet." That's why I was there, and so that was my commitment with Harvey. But he was just very kind, but just a really, really gentle, smart man, and he gave me so much I just can't tell you. And he was my only teacher, and of course through the years I did get myself in some trouble, and I had to go back to Harvey. And one time I was in such bad shape, it took him 3 days to figure out what he had to tell me to get right. He said, "Next time don't wait so long."
All right.
So,
when we come back, Kathy Whitworth is going to tell us something very, very important for all of us golfers, and that is she's going to teach us how to win. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more match play right after these messages.
Are you an E or a C?
Both have Ridgeback. These are loaded with tech.
Which one are you gaming? Definitely E for me.
It's just so forgiving.
I'm definitely an E. C is for Cheka. What else?
C is for kill it.
C is me. Low spinning bombs.
So, are you an E or a C?
I don't know. Hey, wait a minute.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
We're like any normal family. We just get shorter wait times because we buy and book online at discounttire.com.
So easy.
Which gives us more time for things like...
Come on, Mom.
Ready?
And it's all thanks to Kyle.
Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online at discounttire.com.
Let's get you taken care of.
You've heard me talk about Squares golf shoes and how they help you hit the golf ball further. And many of you are saying, oh, come on, Faldo, give us a break. How is that possible? But yes, they do. And it's proven with science.
What we noticed with the Square shoes was the shoe keeps the pressure in a more stable fashion towards inside of the trail heel, allowing pressure to get to the lead side, generating much more club head speed and distance gain.
Visit squares.com. Change your shoes, change your game. Squares, the distance golf shoe.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
All right, welcome back to Match Play with Ray Adams with Kathy Whitworth, Hall of Famer Kathy Whitworth, and 88 wins, as I said at the top of the show. Kathy, we were talking about Harvey Penick when we went out to break, and we all know what a famous golf coach he was and how many both LPGA Tour players and PGA Tour players over the years that he helped to coach to not only great golf and major victories, but Hall of Famers, the like as well. But I've got to ask you, Kathy, and this is for the viewers today especially, how do you win? Now, if you're going to ask a question, how you win at golf tournaments or win your match against your friends just out on Saturday morning, you want to ask the person that has won more professional tour events than anybody ever in history on any tour. So would you teach us how to win for a minute?
Well, I'm not sure that there is a formula per se, but I think motivation is the big key, and I came before I won my first tournament. I came close a few times, and lost in a couple of sudden death playoffs, but that was okay. I mean, but I kept getting myself in position, but I wasn't afraid to win. And that's what I was there for. And yeah, you get nervous, and really it's down to the last. And I don't know when you're talking about your friends and playing what you do, but there's no, I don't think, any formula that you have to do. But that's what you're there for. So you don't back off, and you try to do the best you can. And sometimes you win, sometimes you don't.
I read somewhere, Kathy, where you said, it seems in modern golf, they're learning to play and they're learning to hit the ball. They're learning their ball striking. They're learning everything on the range and at the practice facility.
Yeah.
You didn't do that. You learned how to play golf by playing out on the golf course.
Well,
can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think that, and that's a good question. And it's not that we didn't practice, but you want to have something that you're practicing to make you better. You know, you just don't go out and hit a lot of balls. And you have to have some intent or some reason for doing that. So I think the thing that that made me a better player is Harvey. He gave me the ability and the swing and the knowledge. But I also did a lot of these clinics and exhibitions that but Patty Berg taught us how to do that. And I mean, what a great story that is. And we had to do these clinics, and we'd do 20 or 30 a year, but you had to demonstrate how to hook a ball or slice or in what club to use. And you had to, and we played 9 holes, and you'd hit do some sand traps. And I will say this, I didn't have the greatest swing in the world for sure, but I became a better putter because I was a terrible putter. But I was a good trap player.
You were a good
trap player.
Oh, you could get out of the bunker.
I was better than most. I have to say that. I pat myself on the back for that. But yeah, I became a really good trap player. So yeah, traps didn't scare me, and so if I had a fairly decent life, I've had a good feeling that I could probably get it up and down.
I also heard that some of your colleagues and peers on the LPGA Tour have said, Kathy didn't just try to get it close from 100 yards in. She was focused on putting it in the hole from 100 yards in.
Well,
that kind of passion and focus. At the pin, all right. How do you have that kind of focus and maintain it for 30 years?
Well, because it's just a habit. You get into that habit, and that's your mind. You get into this train of thought, and it's a process. You learn it. It's a process, and you learn by your mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, and I tell young people, I said, don't be afraid of making a mistake. I said that's how you learn, and just try to learn from it and don't make the same mistake
over and over
again.
Yeah,
you learn from that mistake and then you move on to something else. But then it's not that you're not going to make another one, but your mistakes are going to get fewer and fewer, or not as bad, because you learn from those and you learn what you need to work on. And why did I hit that shot? Why did I hit this iron? Or why I didn't do this? Or it's a mental thing too, a mindset. So, but you have to know, you have to own it. You have to own your game, and own your responsibility to hit the shot. And I think that's another part.
Kathy, were there any players out on tour, because you played against all of the greats?
I did.
Many Hall of Famers,
yeah.
and you beat everybody, as we know. But were there 2 or 3, or maybe one special one? I don't know that we would say that you feared them, but when you were in competition against them, you knew that you had your hands full?
Oh yeah, Mickey Wright. She won 82 tournaments, and had she not quit as early as she did, there's no doubt in my mind she would have won 100. I mean, she was that good. Yeah, no, she was the pinnacle. And anybody that played with her, and I know a lot of men, Tom Watson and Ben Hogan, and the people that had watched her hit the ball and play, all agree that she was the best. And
Mickey Wright.
Yeah, and Mickey was at that time in the early 60s, she was still playing. And but I never feared her. I was always thrilled when I got paired with her.
Got to play with her.
Yeah, because I get to watch the best, and I, if I beat her, it was because she just had a bad day. But
good.
It was, I learned a lot by watching her.
Okay.
And I learned a lot by watching, Louis Suggs and Patty Berg and some of the players out there that.
Well, I know you also played against Marilyn Smith, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, because we are here at a very special event about the Marilyn Smith Founders Foundation today. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But we did have one of our television viewers ask me recently, knowing that I was going to interview you, would you please ask Kathy Whitworth this question? And I said, sure. And the question is, with all of those wins, all of those second places, all of those years, all of that travel, everything, what did you give up to have that career?
Well, I don't think I gave up anything. I was doing what I wanted to do, and I know there was, the chance of getting married or having a family, and I know some of our players did, and but they were still able to come back out and play. Nancy Lopez and Judy Rankin and Susie, and so there's quite a few that, and then of course now it's just commonplace for these girls to have a family, and I think that's great. But that wasn't my goal was to play, and and it was not a give up. I didn't think I gave up anything.
Good. What a great answer. When you're doing what you love, you're passionate about, you're successful at, no matter what that is, your business, your life, your relationships, your family, everything, just keep going, because you're doing what you love. You're not giving anything up. You're gaining. We're going to be right back with Kathy Whitworth. We're going to talk about the Solheim Cup, a little bit more about Marilyn Smith, and then some of Kathy's comments about what's going on with women in the world of golf today. Part of my Great Women in Golf series. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with more Match Play right after these messages.
Introducing the newest addition to Zero Friction's Performance Arsenal, the Zero Friction Laser Pro Pistol Grip Rangefinder. The Laser Pro comes with a stable, pistol-shaped comfort grip that is lightweight with an easy-to-read scope. The device vibrates when you are zeroed in on your target and conforms with USGA and USGA handicap guidelines. Shoot on point without taking you out of the zone.
Golf only exists because it's fun. What is special about golf is the relationships.
Being out there with your family, your friends, so many different chances and opportunities are presented from the game of golf.
Touring is brilliant. It's always first-class experiences. Courses that they run, they want it to be as good as possible, and it makes a big difference for the experience.
Why wouldn't you select Troon? You're selecting the best of the best. You know the quality you're getting, you know the experience you're getting. There's nobody better.
How many shots do you throw away from the sand, the rough, or even the fairway? What if there was a way you could own a great short game instantly? Introducing the all-new Alien Roswell Sand Wedge. The Alien Roswell's advanced design sole with the exclusive gravity rail system makes it nearly impossible for you to chunk it.
I practiced thousands and thousands of hours with my traditional sand wedge, but you don't have to with the Alien Roswell.
Now you can try the instant automatic answer to solving your short game by going to aliengolf.com.
Augusta Ranch Golf Club in Mesa has been voted the best executive course in Arizona, challenging for all levels of players. It's family-friendly and fun. Plus, it won't take you all day to play. There's an excellent practice range with PGA professionals to help you with your game, and be sure to enjoy delicious food and beverages at the Scratch Pub and Grill. Make your next tee time at Augusta Ranch Golf Club by calling 480-354-1234 or by going to AugustaRanchGolf.com.
And now back to Match Play with your host, Ray Adams.
All right, thanks for being back with me today on Match Play with Ray Adams. Kathy Whitworth right here, World Golf Hall of Fame, and we're at Papago Golf Club, as well as the Marilyn Smith Founders Foundation tea is going on today.
Yeah, I know.
And Kathy, you're here in honor of your beloved Marilyn Smith, a colleague and your a fierce competitor as well, and a friend. And you know, the Marilyn Smith Founders Foundation raises money for young ladies to be able to go to college, because Marilyn, when she was a young lady, her coach told her father, if she was a boy, I could get her a scholarship. And she didn't get that scholarship because in that day and time, there weren't any. So I know you went to Odessa College, and that was probably a little bit easier for your family. But let's talk about women in golf today, Kathy.
Okay.
But I want to start with your, maybe give me one Marilyn Smith recollection.
Well, Marilyn was great. And when I came on tour, she was president of the LPGA, and she was just really, you know, friendly and welcoming, and you know, and all. But she did that to everybody, so it wasn't just, you know. But that was just Marilyn. But she was a terrific president, and she, because at that time the president was really the commissioner. I guess they had to try to get tournaments and do all the stuff that she had to do, and so you got to give her a lot of credit there. Besides the fact that she was a really good player, and I don't remember playing too many times with Marilyn because of the pairing situation and times and stuff, but I did play with her and watched her play, and she was very precise. She had a routine that she did, and it was fun to watch.
Well, I knew Marilyn well, and we were friends, and had her on this show, and had her on my radio show many times, Kathy, and she would always say, Ray, how's your grip? Show me your grip, Ray. She was all about the grip.
Well, it is, that's right.
Absolutely. They said, Kathy, that you were a master of getting the ball in the hole. Can you talk a little bit about that for just a moment, about getting the ball in the hole?
Yeah. Well, again, that goes back to what Harvey gave to me. We mentioned the grip. The grip was just so key, but by gripping the club and swinging the club like he wanted me to, allowed me to have control of club head speed. And another one of the things that he gave me, and once I got it, and you know, it's hard to do, but boy, once you get it, but instead of just trying to hit the ball, he wanted me to clip the grass in front of the ball. So that that kept the club head speed right at impact. And boy, in short game, that is really key.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice from, there she is, Kathy Whitworth. I've got one final question for you, Kathy. Thank you so much. I've got one final question for Kathy Whitworth, and it has to do with a a wonderful moment in women's golf historically, and that is in 1990. You became the first captain of the very first Solheim Cup. Can you just give me a minute about the honor of being that captain and your Solheim Cup experience?
Well, it was a great experience. I'm not kidding you. It was. We were just getting it organized, the Solheim family, when I was involved in the first part of that a little bit. So.
Did Karsten call you to invite you to be the captain?
Well, not necessarily.
How did that happen?
You know, and I'm not sure exactly who called, but it probably was Karsten or John. And but they had in the formulation of the Solheim, and because we only had 8 players, and so it was pretty easy for me because I had the top 8 players of the world. It was just, but one of my favorite stories, well, and I was thrilled to be the captain. I mean, I was, that was just a terrific experience. And I mean, of course, like I said, I didn't have to do much because these girls, Betsy King, Nancy Lopez, and Beth Daniel, and Vat Bradley, and, I mean, they were the best players in the world. And the Europeans had some good players. Laura Davies was there. And good players on that team, but I wasn't worried about winning. And
of course, obviously, we know the outcome.
Yes.
Kathy, thank you so much for being with us. One of the greatest players on any tour in the entire history of the game of golf. Thank you so much for being with me today.
You are welcome, Ray.
On the
Thank
show.
you.
This
Enjoyed
is a very special moment for me, and I know for you as well. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Kathy Whitworth.
Okay.
And we'll be back very soon for another great episode of Great Women in Golf. And stay tuned to Match Play TV on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
I think it's important to start your day by getting your energy flowing and your body ready. That's great, but some days I need more. If you want to be great at something, it takes hard work and focus. Other times, I want more. There's nothing better than finding time to slow down for a meal with family and friends. Is there a chance of even more? It's absolutely amazing when you can sit around a fire to finish off the day. I'm so glad I found a place for all my mores. Quality products at a fair price.